So what's all this bravado bullshit? I used to think that was the way it should be, you know, the alpha male. You can't show any fear, you can't show any emotions. You're not being a man if you do that. Of course, that's bullshit. Bravado's no good in my eyes. It's all about courage, acting despite how you feel. Because fear seems to be prevalent in a lot of people's lives. It has been in mine for a long time, even when I didn't even know it. I've studied fear, and that's the irony. I've worked with my good friend mentor Jeff Thompson for 5 years. I've trained with him. I've spent a lot of time with this man. You know, he's a BAFTA winning screenwriter, best-selling author, but a world authority in self-protection. But his whole expertise, if you like, surrounded, you know, is around fear. Fear control, studying fear. Why was he fearful? That's how he started his life, being a martial artist, but still feeling fear and couldn't understand why. And the reason why Jeff resonated with me, even though, you know, it was years later that I found him after, you know, my martial arts journey started, is the fact I was in the same place. I'd had those experiences. I'd had the experience where I was a black belt and some bully took me by surprise one night when I was with my then girlfriend, now wife Joy. I just got in my car and he appeared from nowhere, brain on the door, and my arse fell out. Another metaphor. I'm going to keep labeling these metaphors so I remember. I was scared. I didn't want to get out of the car and I didn't understand why. And when that finished, when that episode was over, when that incident had gone, I remember going home to still live with my mum and dad. I told my dad and I was furious. I was so angry and I couldn't live with it. To the point that I actually ended up going round to his house and knocking on his door and offering him out. I was going to have a fight. No one was going to have that power over me. And I didn't even know that's what that was at the time. I just couldn't live with the fact that this guy had made me feel in such a way that I just didn't like it. And it felt like cowardice, but it wasn't. It was just a fight or flight mechanism. I did the right thing. I teach this stuff now. But back then I didn't feel that way. And so, you know, stuff that Jeff came out with, you know, and the reason why our paths crossed was no accident. That's why I travel to Coventry and, you know, 450 miles every month for 5 years to train with this man. He's such a humble, beautiful man. And I love him to bits. But one thing that made me realise, and not even then when I was working with Jeff, because I ended up getting in my own way with fear through the business that I'd created. You know, it was scary, but it was exciting at the same time, but I allowed it to bring me down and, you know, pull me back. It's only now, after speaking to, you know, some other coaches who I know in my fitness space, only now that I realise how powerful and profound Jeff's messages were and are. And the reason why sometimes I struggle to watch his podcasts and listen to his podcasts and his videos is because they're so raw and so brutal and so honest. They make me feel uncomfortable, or they did. They don't now, because I know that's what path I choose to be on. So that's where I get to be. But one thing I realised, that being the alpha male, or being that, you know, thinking that you should be an alpha male, is the fact that it's not all about the bravado. It's not all about the bullshit and the lies and, you know, the big I am. It's about conquering yourself. And that's what I always took away from Jeff's teachings, is self-protection starts with the self first. It always starts with the self. That's the whole concept of the lean warrior, the philosophy behind it. Is strip away the excess until only the truth remains, and then have the courage to face it so you can unleash that warrior within, that true warrior, true self. And then impose yourself on the world the way you want. Not the way anybody else told you should. How you choose is the way forwards. And that's what I get to do. That's what I am doing every day. These videos are part of it. And these videos, whatever message they give out, they're really for me to unload, to get rid of, to unleash, to minimize, to remove the superfluous, discard the excess. Get this shit out. Now there's one thing that'll try and stop you, and that's your ego. That thing in the middle between your conscious and your super conscious, subconscious, that, your true self inside. You've got an ego there. And the ego is there, thinks it's trying to protect you, stops you from doing things. And usually when that's the case, you're out of alignment. And you'll know when you're out. Because you're stressed, because you don't feel good, because things aren't going the way you want, because you feel fearful. I know, I've been there. But when it isn't, but when it's aligned, when your thoughts and your feelings come from love, the universe conspires to move with you. And that's what I mean by the surrender. When you surrender yourself, to your true self, and don't think about comparing yourself to others. Don't think about being judged, but being you and being unapologetically you. That's when the magic happens. That's when your real life starts. That's when my real life started. When I cut the bullshit, the bravado, the who I should be. Now I am who I am. I know exactly who I am. Exactly why I'm on this planet. And exactly what I choose to do. Until tomorrow. See you later.